This is what we're making today, a forged bangle, forged on the outside and the sides. It's a nice little piece. We're going to make another forged bangle today. This is 3mm round wire, sterling. This will also work on 4 or 5mm round wire. Because we're going to be doing more forging on this one, we're going to make it a little bit shorter, because more hammering means more stretching. So get the diameter of your bangle in millimeters, inside diameter, multiply by 3.14, subtract 25 millimeters for this one. Cut, form it, solder it with hard solder. File the ends flat. Like all of our solder joints, we want 100% fit. If you can't bend the wire, anneal it. Just bring it up to a dull red temperature and then quench it. Dry it off after you've quenched it. And if it's properly annealed, you should be able to just bend this with your fingers. Yeah, and we just want these ends, we don't care about it being round, we just want the ends to match perfectly. This is the fit that I want. No gaps. So take a piece of hard solder and put a bend like this in the end. And then we're going to put this inside our inside the what would be a gap. I've got it so that there's spring tension against it. And when I put this on, the solder will be on the inside. And I'll just clip this off. So I've just placed this on my charcoal block, and I'm going to flex the end. And I'm just going to brush the flame back and forth, bouncing it off the charcoal block just before the wire, and that way the charcoal will heat this thing underneath at the same time I'm heating the top. Now you can see that when the solder flowed, that the gap closed up like that. So I just looked at the other side. It's good. We'll quench it now and pickle it. Quench it in water. Out of the pickle, dry it off, always. Round it up on your bracelet mandrel using your rawhide hammer. Use your sanding stick with 400 grade paper and tidy up the solder joint. Now we're going to use the chart in the back of Tim McCrate's Complete Metalsmith, and it's a circle divider. And we just lay our piece on there and decide how many flats we want on this. I'll say 7, and we just mark each spot where there's a 7. Makes your life really simple. This is a texture Sharpie. So put this on your bracelet mandrel with your marks up, and you're going to use the flat side of your planishing hammer, and you're going to hammer just straight on that mark. Do each one of them all the way around. That's our beginning. Hammer on each mark. Now, you've hammered on the mark. Gently hammer to an imaginary line in between the 2 marks, still on the outside with the flat part of your hammer. Don't go past the middle. And when you've done that, you should have almost a point in the middle. Now what we're going to do is hammer it sideways, and we're going to use the round part of the planishing hammer, and we're going to hammer in between the marks. I'll zoom this in so you can see. So now I'm hammering on the side. Get it to focus. I'm hammering on the side in between the 2 marks. So you hammered on the mark, on the flat. Now we're hammering on the side with the round part of the hammer in between the marks, and work your way just to the mark. So hammer mostly in the middle and then work your way out. Do that all the way around. Each one. So this is our beginning. Now we want to anneal this because we're only halfway to the size we need to be, and you can tell by the sound of your hammer when you're hitting it. And if it just sounds like you're hitting your steel mandrel, it's time to anneal it. These marks will disappear, but that's fine because you've got your hammer marks that you can follow. So anneal it back on your bracelet mandrel, hammer the flats, then hammer the sides with the round part of the hammer, watching the size. You should have marked your size on the bracelet mandrel, or just check it for fit. Don't make it too big. Back on the bracelet mandrel, flat side of the hammer, and hammer from the middle to the edge. Don't go past the point in between the 2. You should end up with a little point in between each one, all the way around. So I've done the outside and the sides. You can see I'm almost there. I need to anneal it again and then go back, work the outside and the side, keeping my eye on that mark. So I'm at the right size. Now, ideally, all of your flats will be the same size, and the thickness of this and of this will all be the same. So visually, it should look good. If you want, you can file this flat, and with your number 2 cut flat hand file, you can file the sides with your half round ring file, number 2 cut, and then finer grade sandpaper, and then polish it. But personally, I like the hammer marks. So hallmark it, polish it, and you're done. This is what we're making today. A forged bangle, forged on the outside and the sides. It's a nice little piece.